inflation, Suyash, is still a cause of worry, specifically vegetable and pulses, where government has taken active measures in the past in order to contain prices of and the growing prices of rice, wheat, sugar. The latest now that has come in slew of government measures is to have a stockpile limit on how much wheat can you keep as a retailer, as a large-scale retailer and a small trader. How much stockpile of wheat can you have? And that is because despite having enough buffer stock, wheat prices are soaring.
Wheat prices are soaring, Shweta, and we are seeing that food inflation, which has been a very big cause of concern. In fact, if you look at the CPI numbers, there has been a slight dip in vegetable prices, which was driving inflation, food inflation higher earlier. But pulses and cereals, Shweta, have been a pain point and have been driving inflation higher. And to your point, there is a concern that we'll run into shortage, and especially ahead of the festive season. So maybe, government is taking, active measures to ensure that when festive season comes by, we are not short of wheat and even sugar. We have been talking about sugar lately. We have seen that because of the lack of rainfall in western part of the country, in Maharashtra, which is one of the biggest producers of sugar, because of El Nino conditions. The sugar prices have scaled near 6 years high. So government will at perhaps some point, we are seeing in the case of wheat, perhaps in other commodities, we'll also see government intervention at some level ahead of the festive season especially.
All right, ahead of the festive season, all the more important, Ashish, as festivities, they're around the corner. In fact, Ganesh Chaturthi, I think the country will be celebrating it, and a lot of people will be marking Ganesh Chaturthi on either Monday or Tuesday. Festivities begin all around the country start of next week. Just ahead of that time, it becomes all the more imperative for the government to contain the growing prices of cereals, of vegetables, of pulses, and they are doing so. There is a stockpile limit now of 2,000 tons, Suyash, on wheat for small retailers, 3,000 tons for big retailers. That is, of course, one measure that the government is taking, but need for more measures, Ashish. Perhaps export curbs on everything we have in surplus where prices are rising, such as wheat and sugar.
Yeah, I think whatever the government is doing, they're doing quite proactively. If you see the rice exports, they have banned or kept a minimum export realization of $1,100 for basmati rice. So this is all to curtail the price in domestic market, because globally prices are really going up because of supply chain disturbance, because of Russia, China war, and a lot of African countries are not able to, produce things because of political unrest. And these are the countries in Africa which used to supply a lot of pulses to Indian market as such. So I think this is going, you have to live with it because of global uncertainties and because of supply chain issues, etc. Prices are going to remain firm. Besides this time, a lot of scarcity in the rain in many parts of the country. So sowing at the same time, crop of paddy, wheat is going to come down. As far as sugar is concerned, again, I'm expecting whatever the prices we are witnessing, government will surely try to curtail those prices. But these food prices and the higher food prices are going to remain there for some time, and you can't help it easily, because if you try to import wheat or rice or sugar from overseas, and the way India goes and buy the market also goes up, because whenever India buys anything, they buy in bulk quantity. So again, the problem doesn't come down because of just importing anything only. I think this is a good move that so many restrictions are put in as far as hoarding or warehousing of these commodities are concerned, and we have seen it has really worked in tomato and onion, etc. In few months, prices will cool down.
All right, and prices should cool down. These are difficult times. These are times where government has to be all the more proactive. Remember, this is an election year right ahead of the general elections. So it's important, therefore, to contain inflation, not just from an economics point of view, but also from a sentiments point of view, where you cannot let people buy essential items like tomatoes, potatoes, onions at a very high price.
Yes, definitely, Shweta. And as Mr. Maheshwari also pointed out, that government has been rather proactive. You know, earlier this month, we saw reports that government has asked sugar mills to, you know, submit the sales data, the stockpile numbers to ensure that there is no hoarding going on ahead of the festive season and there is adequate supply when the festive season comes. And very interesting comments from the Union Food Secretary Sanjeev Chopra as well, Shweta. He said that, you know, the government has found that there have been attempts to create artificial scarcity on the pretext of poor monsoon. So perhaps we are seeing some sort of a hoarding, and maybe there is the, you know, the entire issue of shortage has been rather played up at this point in time. We'll get, of course, more data about that
Okay.
as an
And
event.
artificial scarcity is what the government is saying it. Perhaps that's why the measures have come in to have a stockpile limit. We'll continue tracking all those details. Ashish Maheshwari, Suyash Maheshwari, thanks very much. Gentlemen, both of you, for joining us this morning. We are bringing you all the live updates as far as markets is concerned.